What's going on, folks? Welcome back. This is the Cloud Pilot, and you're listening to the Cloud Pilot podcast. In this episode, we are going to discuss about how you can start your career in the cloud pre-sales domain. So to talk about that, we have a very special guest who has more than 5 years of experience in the pre-sales domain. And let me welcome Chirag Nayyar to our podcast. Welcome, Chirag. Thank you so much for accepting my invite. And it's so great to see you here.
Hey, Uday, it's great to be here. It's been a while since we connected. We are chatting, and it's my pleasure to be part of this podcast and to share my journey and share my thoughts around that. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. Would you mind sharing us about your journey into the cloud?
Okay, so I started learning about cloud back in the days when Microsoft Azure was known as Windows Azure. It was in my college days when I got the opportunity to be a part of a program named DreamSpark. And from that program, I got a credit. I was thinking like a Windows Azure is something like a Windows operating system. And I was looking for a Microsoft website and try to download it, but I landed up something from Microsoft Virtual Academy. Nowadays, I'm not sure it is there. It is known as Microsoft Learning, and there are a lot of changes. But Microsoft Virtual Academy and channel9.msdn.com was my prime source. And I started learning about a cloud computing, the virtual machine, the software defined everything. And post my graduation, I got to know about the cloud ecosystem. That is where I landed my first job, because I decided that being even a computer science graduate, I don't want to a full-time a developer or DBA or such kind of a job. But I'm always a people person. I love to be front end, to talk with people, to understand and to share my thought. That's where like I started my journey from born in a cloud partner, and it's been almost 6.5 years. Day to day, my job is to understand a different scenario of a customer, whether they are already on cloud and they are looking for something else to innovate, or if they are already thinking about their cloud journey but not getting a way that how the migration strategy, what is the commercial impact. So that is where I'm playing a role in my organization to support my front end, which is like accounts or sales team, as well as a delivery, and most important to the customer IT team and their executives, that how the cloud journey look alike. So yeah, every day is new here for me to work in a different scenarios.
Wow, what a desirable role indeed. Can you tell us about the duties of a pre-sales engineer?
So pre-sales is something that it is not pure sales or it is not pure technical. Okay, let me tell you very clearly, in a pre-sales role, a person is not going to touch the system, or to you can say to the application, to the virtual machines or the network actually. But from a solutioning and design point, pre-sales is going to play a major role. Pre-sales is a role which is a part of a sales organization, and it is a supporting head for the sales team. So to understand the customer requirement and qualification of an opportunity is the most important part, because as pre-sales need to be aware that what, from a company point of view, what the delivery is able to do. It is not that all the competencies, all the technology stack our delivery can do. Again, depend upon the scale of our organization, and according to that, pass the right information to the customer and to the sales team, setting up the right expectation. For me, pre-sales is always a middleman who is handling the customer communication from a technical as well as a strategy point of view, and to handle the sales, our own, like as organization, the sales team, that whether really we can deliver it or not. According to that, sales can think about their own sales pipeline and the closure and all those things, as well as translating the business requirement to the technical requirement to the delivery team, so that delivery team can jot down the scope in a much bigger depth and detail, that whether what are the pros and cons, or what are the assumptions they need to take care. So pre-sales is a middleman who need to handle the communication to the solutioning to the commercial at certain level, as well as to explain or give a walkthrough a customer that what is the scope of the solution and what are the expectations from the customer end. So all in all, if I say pre-sales is a very important role, especially in the cloud world, because we can't expect that the salespeople will overnight become a technical champ and they will start speaking the cloud language. That is where the pre-sales is supporting the sales team as well as the delivery, because delivery teams always would like to understand the technical scope, not the business aspect. Again, conditions are there always. Okay, but it's a job of a pre-sales to make the communication easy and pass the right message to each and every party.
What is the challenge for a pre-sales engineer, or what are the challenges which is being faced by a pre-sales engineer?
That is something like, especially I will take from the cloud, public cloud platform point of view, because it is every day there are new update, new feature update. So learning curve is something that for a pre-sales engineer or a consultant is very important, because today is certain service which is running, or maybe tomorrow there is new feature update is coming which can help a customer. If a pre-sales understand the architecture properly, it may help a customer to achieve operational excellence, maybe a cost optimization, maybe it will improve or strengthen their security point, and so on and so forth. So learning curve is something that pre-sales always need to be aware that it is not a one thing, that this is just we are not talking or dealing in the hardware world, especially when we talk about a cloud. There is regular basis update there, and knowing what is running in the customer architecture and how it can impact. It may happen again, the scenario I come across, it will improve the operational part, but it will come with the cost. The same with the security is not a free job or free thing. It can improve the security, but it will come with a cost. So that is the job of a pre-sales, to bring that picture in front of a customer. It can be their C-level executive as well as the IT team. Now, then depend upon from the customer side whether they would like to take or not. Again, there are many factors, especially the cost is always there. And again, sometime it may be if there is any change in architecture required, it may impact the customer development timeline and all those things. So such challenges are always there, as well as handling that communication if there is a wrong expectation set. Especially communication play a major role. If customer is expecting something, a pre-sales person didn't communicate it well to their delivery team, then there is a big gap. So pre-sales need to understand that part, that clear communication is the most important part, and that will make a life easy for each and every stakeholder.
So as we mentioned about sales is an explosive domain. What is the demand for cloud pre-sales engineering jobs?
Great. So that is what I can tell you. Like when I started my career, even I'm a computer science graduate, I directly jumped to a pure sales role. Okay. So my first role was a sales lead, and I moved from the northern part of India to the eastern part of India. That was a totally new territory, a new geography, and everything got changed, from the weather to the food to the language. So I understand the sales aspect. So nowadays, when we talk about a cloud, again, it's not no longer a new thing. We are talking about those common things like agility, quick time to market, and all those things. And that is, I believe, totally applied to the sales cycle also. We are not talking about the hardware sales cycle, which is usually in a industry standard 6 to 8 weeks, or maybe 2 to 3 months, or maybe more nowadays because of the chip shortage scenario which is going on. When we talk about cloud, the sales cycle also need to be shortened. It need to be agile. So that is where the pre-sales, and especially having the cloud experience, make much more sense, because it is not expected that the sales people who, again, having experience in the industry and who have a very deep relationship from the customer point of view, very deep relationship and coverage from their entire C-level executive to their IT teams. Pre-sales is a you can say the important arm of a sales team to qualify the opportunity, to understand that how the sales cycle can be shorter. So that is where I believe pre-sales is was there, is there, and it will always be there. But to understand that, the pre-sales need to be that competent to understand what our organization is doing. The role need to be aligned with according to the vision of the organization. That is the most important part in my experience. I try to figure it out, and I try to understand that what our organization vision is and what my as a pre-sales my own vision is, and will it align, and what support I can get from my leadership, as well as what kind of customer portfolio the organization is delivering, and what is the sales what I can say, sales force or sales strength. According to that, pre-sales is always there and it is required. And just not to communicate, but doing a documentation, proposal writing, at least a first level of solutioning. And the most important, figuring out what is a real problem statement. That is, I believe, the job of pre-sales. I don't believe that delivery will jump directly like that. Pre-sales need to be there. Job is always there. It's all about a person to person scenario, that a person, a vision of a person, that what he or she want to do.
What roadmap would you suggest to start a career in the pre-sales domain?
So this is a very important question, and I have come across the same kind of scenario. Even when I started looking back my own experience a few years back, even I didn't have a clarity. I was sure that I want to do something in the cloud computing space, but I didn't have that time industry experience. So to be a pre-sales now, at least I can say, don't just rush to learn the newer technology, but it is more important to know the foundation level of networking, storage, security, and communication, as I mentioned in few minutes ago, as well as the presentation skill. That is the most important part. That to become the part of a pre-sales organization, you need to have a fundamental, very clear on your tips, because you are going to deal with the various set of customers, or maybe a customer may have at a different state of their cloud journey. Some may be mature and they are looking for adopting a next level kind of a cloud native architecture, or understanding the 6 or 7 hour of cloud migration is playing a major role here. So understanding the customer who is tightly uh, having a big expansion or big footprint of data centers, again globally, how to strategize their cloud migrations. For that, you need to again understand the networking and the storage part, as well as what kind of compute they are using and what kind of workload they are trying to migrate. It's not always easy to say that whatever the technology platform is available, but how we are going to achieve, and what is the timeline, what is the cost implication, and especially what is the, if I say, the team qualification or the team capability on the customer side, whether they are cloud ready, or again the cloud enablement is required. That can be a role of a pre-sales to enable the customer, and that what is cloud look like. It's no longer the days of just a virtual machine, but cloud is providing much more than this kind of way. So I believe to become a pre-sales, fundamental of IP is required, as well as the communication. And just to share, Microsoft Office is required. You need to deal with a lot of Excel sheet as well as a presentation. It may happen from a scratch. You need to prepare a presentation. Not your company or not your marketing team is going to provide, again, depending on the scenario. But if these kind of skills are there, again, not everything need to be at an advanced level, but basic to intermediary is I believe, and I recommend to everyone.
What are those specific skills that is required for a pre-sales engineer?
As I mentioned in my previous response, that networking, understanding the IPv4, because IPv4 is again the fundamental of networking is required. But when, again, as I mentioned, that knowing about what scale of organization and what is the customer scale, according to that, a pre-sales need to know maybe some advanced level of networking. Even I come across something like after a 5 year of my career, that I really need to know about BGP, something MPLS, which I never dealt it before a few years back, but I have come across a scenario, so that I believe it will be a good for a pre-sales to understand the conversation for a customer and to develop a solution, at least a first level of solution or first level of strategy to understand. Because when a pre-sales person is going to talk with the core IT people, they will not talk about a business. They will not talk about a strategy. They would like to hear more about the technology. And if there is a mismatch, then for sure there will be a communication gap, and the sales cycle will be longer, as well as deal may get on hold. Depend again, the situations can be in anything, if I say. So pre-sales need to be aware of all those things, as well as again clear communication, presentation skill, all those plays a major role. And knowing about not every technology, not I say all the newer or emerging technology, but basics are super important. I need to go through a lot of documentation, not the cloud, but maybe the some basics. I need to follow a lot of article. I can give you example. Few years ago, I was not aware that what is micro segmentation in networking, but I have come across a scenario that I push myself to learn. At least I try to learn. I try to see. I have gone through the documentation. There are SMEs always there who will guide and who will be part of the deal. But to connect with the customer is the most important part, because SMA will come and go, but pre-sales and sales will always be part of the sales cycle. And even in the delivery, sometimes a bit of project management can be a part of pre-sales if there is some miscommunication happen, and or it is leading to the path of some escalation. So pre-sales need to jump along with the sales to clarify each and everything and set a right expectation.
How do we prepare for pre-sales interviews?
Okay, that's again an important point, because understanding what a person want to do and in which kind of organization. Because see, internet is no longer a luxury, and it is a necessity. So doing a search in which geography a person want to work and what kind of company and what is the company focus. Again, it can be a different scenario. The company is focused majorly on only a one cloud, not the other cloud platform. Okay, and then knowing that what is the company competencies, that is an important part, so that pre-sales person can align. It doesn't mean that, let's say, a company from the AWS partner ecosystem is focusing only on the analytics and AI ML part. A person is only focused on the infra part, so then it can be a mismatch. So if that is not a relevant organization or the focus area, I believe it's no longer a point to burn your head. And I understand that everyone need a job, everyone is trying their best to get a job, but doing the homework is the most important part here, that for which organization and for what scale even a person want a relocation or not, that even a play a major role in a path to become a pre-sale. For a fresher, obviously I understand fresher is learning a lot of things, but not having an industry experience and not having that point, that how to deal with the customer, and especially the process point of view. Because if you are dealing in a organization from a customer side, they are fully process oriented. A fresher may not have. So learning not only about the technology, but adding a bit of processes, again, from internet, I believe a person can learn for that. It's not that it need to be certified or all those things, but how that can fit and making your own mind map can be helpful. Again, it's all about a time. A person need to put a time. I have come across scenarios. The person is saying solving some labs is time taking, and he don't have a time. He just want to follow a course and achieve some certification. And after a few months, the person again reach out to me. He was not able to crack an interview. Again, I come to the same point, that you are not trying to understand that how the implementation is working. You are just trying to cram a course, passing a certification. A certification is just giving opportunity to sit in an interview, but it is not a guarantee that a person will get a job. So the same kind of scenario, the mindset, like I try to apply for a pre-sales role, that try to understand at least the basic, try to do that how realistically implementation is working. There are a lot of case studies there. Try to learn from them and make your own mindset. So making your own mindset, it will give you clarity when you really come across such opportunity, you will try to connect those dots.
Excellent. So what is your advice to the aspiring pre-sales engineers?
Okay, so I would like to start with that if you want to be part of a pre-sales organization, regardless of if you're coming from a totally technological background, or you can say you are a DBA or a hardcore developer, or you're a pure sales guy, but you want to be a part of pre-sale, then you need to first work on your presentation skill, that how to translate the business thoughts into the technology and vice versa. Okay, as well as you need to learn the basics. You can't be restrictive that I am a hardcore developer or DBA, I don't know about the networks. Then for sure, a person may feel difficulty when facing a customer conversation, because before even a databases, the network came into picture. You need to design the foundation, a network design, that is a core, that how a, maybe a cloud landscape look like, or if I say the landing zone kind of an industry term which we are using nowadays, that how it will look like. And networking is playing a major role. Networking, presentation skill, and understanding the thoughts what customer want to achieve. Figuring out the problem statement is the most important part rather than just talking about a solution. See, there is an endless technology. A problem can be solved in a multiple ways. You can take any framework or any programming language or any database. Somehow it may drive the solution approach at certain level. But knowing about what we are trying to solve, that is the most important part. So that is mindset a pre-sales need to carry, that what we are trying to solve and what is the customer situation from a commercial point of view, whether customers are really ready to take their ride on cloud, or they are still in just an evaluation phase, or what is their maturity level. According to that, a pre-sales can drive the deal or drive the journey for a customer further.
Awesome. So that's a really good piece of advice. So I think we're done with the questions. How did you feel about the podcast?
Udesh, you are doing a great thing, and keep it up. I would like to share that for a pre-sales, even be a community contributor also a important role. Like Udesh, you are doing a lot of contribution. I am following you from last couple of years, if I say so. Okay, and I reading your regular post. You are trying to encourage people. You are trying to share as much as possible so that the other can take advantage from your experience, and it's my pleasure to be here, that we are together here to share the experience whatever I have learned in the past, and hope in near future we can again collaborate and try to share with something new whatever we will learn in our coming months and the years.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I have been following you for the same couple of years. We have been connected on LinkedIn, and I've been following all the community contributions that you have been doing so far. So it's really appreciable, and thank you so much once again for coming.
Sure, it's my pleasure, and hope in near future we can again collaborate and share more.
Absolutely, for sure. And thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope this was helpful enough. We'll catch up soon in another one. Till then, it's me, the Club Pilot, signing off. Bye.